The information shared on Light Body Radio is for educational and informational purposes only. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician, licensed healthcare provider, or qualified wellness practitioner with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or health goal. Dr. Lara May, her guests, and affiliates do not claim to cure, prevent, or treat any condition and are not responsible for any actions taken based on the information shared in this podcast. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own health decisions and that any actions you take based on the content are at your own discretion and risk. Thank you for tuning in to Light Body Radio.
Welcome to Light Body Radio, where science meets soul and healing gets multidimensional. I am your host, Dr. Lara May, functional medicine pharmacist, master intuitive Reiki channel, and certified life and health coach. Here we decode root causes, transmute stuck energy, and empower your full spectrum healing journey, body, mind, and light body. This isn't just wellness, it's awakening, grounded in science, guided by spirit, and designed for your evolution. Let's rise and radiate. Welcome to the next level of you.
Hello and welcome, beautiful souls, to Light Body Radio and our Wellness Illuminated series. I am back with you, Dr. Lara May, functional medicine pharmacist, energy healer, and your guide to where science meets soul, mind, body, and soul, wisdom and information and discussions. And today is a very special day because we are on the verge of the autumn equinox, depending on when you're listening to this. If you're listening to this on the September 22nd, then today is the day. And this is the day of perfect balance between light and dark. Nature pauses, exhales, and pivots inward. And that is exactly what we're going to do together today. Well, at least talk about. It is a September reset. Detoxing body, mind, and the energy field so that you can step into fall feeling clear, grounded, and brilliant. And you might be at this point now in the year where we're in full swing of the fall school year, back to school, and maybe you're starting to feel overwhelmed. Maybe you're starting to think, man, maybe I've put too much on the plate for myself or my kids or both, or the family, or your whatever it is, the job, all the activities that come along with this time of year too. And so burnout isn't just about too much to do, quote unquote, but burnout is often sort of exacerbated by toxic overload. So chemicals, chronic stress, chronic hormone imbalances, stuck emotions somewhere in and around your body, and this energetic junk that we've absorbed from everything around us, other people, the news, maybe even our family, other places, work, everybody else's energy. And when this load exceeds our capacity to clear it, then it dims our light, it dims our resilience, and it really makes it difficult to function in a, productive way, both with ourselves and, within our relationships throughout our lives. So today we're going to talk about resetting that. And this is just as a side note, this is also part of the first sort of module or section of my Burnout to Brilliance program. We start with 3 to 4 weeks of stress management modalities and teaching, and really teaching you how to get your stress level out of fight or flight, to really get you toned down and calm and collected and even keeled. And from there, we go into a functional medicine guided detox. And that is because if you detox when you're in fight or flight, then you're actually just adding more stress to the gut and you're adding more inflammation. And so you're sort of cutting that detox off at the knees if you don't have a good foundation of stress management under your belt. So there is a method to the madness. And so if you're feeling called to dive into this or even learn more, definitely head on over to drlaramay.com and sign up for a free discovery call. And we can discuss where you are, what you're looking for, what you need, what you think you need, what maybe we come up with something together. And it may be this program, it may not be. So we'll just see. But anyway, so think about that. But for the rest of today's episode, we are going to talk about, first of all, why the equinox is the most powerful day to reset. So the autumn equinox is a threshold. It's a day of equal day and night, a living reminder to balance output with restoration, the physical with the spiritual, and giving with receiving, which is so important. I think a lot of us forget about that, especially as chronic people pleasers. We try to give, and we forget about the receiving part. And in energetic terms, the equinox, the autumn equinox, is a portal of recalibration, a perfect moment to let go and reharmonize your system. So seasonally, traditional wisdom, whether we're looking at Chinese medicine or Ayurveda, at this time focuses on the lungs and the large intestine. So if you think about that too, our lungs and our large intestines are organs of release and expulsion of toxins in the body, but also the lungs, specifically our respiratory system, our respiratory tract, is all about cleaning. So when we inhale through the nose and it goes down into our lungs, our nose hairs and the cilia of the lungs is part of that function, is to clean what we're inhaling so that our body can make the most of what we're bringing in, all those wonderful gases that we use for respiration and acid-base balance in our body. And so it's really important to focus on these, and also to actually, we can use these organs again for release and for detoxification. And so obviously large intestines, that can all be about defecation or elimination, but the lungs especially we can really use breath work to help clean and clear our body out very powerfully. And especially with breathwork practices, a little goes a long way. You don't need a lot to be super effective. So that's something to keep in mind. If we're talking, we'll talk later about some tips and tricks and modalities that would be appropriate for implementing at this time of year specifically. And so obviously breathwork is fantastic any time of year and any day of the week and any day of the year. But in this specific context, it can be very helpful. And it can be a super powerful modality to incorporate into a very intentional detox practice that you're doing. So within the functional medicine realm, this is also the time we can see people benefit from obviously lightening the chemical load that builds up over the summer, whether that's from sunscreens, from travel, from grill smoke, from alcohol intake, maybe even wildfire smoke, depending on where you live, and pool chemicals. So even, just thinking about like the seasonal things that we are exposed to at different parts of the year, you can see how and why seasonal detoxes are so important. So it can also be about resetting the blood sugar and the cortisol before the holidays ramp up. So giving your body a really healthy and sturdy foundation to go into the holiday season with. So, recalibrating that blood sugar, bringing the cortisol down out of the fight or flight stage, and then supporting immune readiness by reducing inflammatory burden on the detox pathways. So that's the liver, the lymph, the gut, the skin, the kidneys, the lungs. These are all part of your detox system and all organ systems that help in your detox. Energetically, autumn asks you, what are you clarifying that is no longer yours to carry? Or I'm sorry, what are you carrying that is no longer yours to carry? And so the Equinox gives you that opportunity to put it down with gratitude, to walk away, to walk forward lighter and with less of this burden. So detoxing, I mean, it can be a 3-day juice cleanse, but really optimally and ideally it's not. So detox, we're just going to say for the purpose of this episode and for the way I look at detoxing is not just a 3-day juice binge. Real change happens when we address the 3 intertwined layers. And of course, because you're here on Light Body Radio and you're here with me, we're going to talk about physical, emotional, and energetic. So obviously the physical detox aspect is making space in the body, supporting the organs of elimination. So your body can clear out what's bogging it down, what's weighing it down, maybe literally weighing it down. It's amazing how much feces and waste our body can actually hold on to. And I will spare you the details for now, but that is something that you can look up, and I'm sure you'll be amazed at how much literal crap we can hold in our body. And so part of that is within that, woven in that waste are processed chemicals, excess estrogens that can become toxic and oncologic to our body, blood sugar swings, and metabolic waste. And so it's really important to allow your body this unburdening on a regular basis so that it doesn't build up in there and then start to have trickle down effects of more severe and serious inflammation and disease development. So the next piece is the emotional detox. So moving what's been suppressed. What unprocessed emotions are you holding on to? Are you bitter about something? Are you resentful? Are you angry? Are you in complete shutdown maybe over something? All of these are okay. There's no judgment around them, but be honest with yourself and really, look inward and say, okay, how have I been? Because we are human beings. So how are we being emotionally with ourselves? And then most likely that is reflecting in our relationship and how we are with other people. And so unprocessed stress, resentment, grief, and chronic people pleasing, like I was talking about before, they act like emotional toxins and they can physically congest our nervous system and keep us in an inflamed state. And that's also why when I designed my From Burnout to Brilliance program, I decided to start with the very first 3 weeks at minimum is going to be focused on that emotional management, that stress management. How do we not only deal with it, but also, manage it, but also release it and get to a place where we don't have to have necessarily a big dramatic release, but we can do this a little bit every day to keep us more even keeled. And so then the next aspect of this is obviously the energetic detox. So clearing your field and reclaiming your high vibing self, your high vibing frequency, that vibrancy that actually feeds you with energy, feeds you with enthusiasm, joy, love, gratitude, that zest for life. You are an electromagnetic being. We all are. And so the cords, the cluttered environments, the doom scrolling, and all of our porous boundaries fill our field with static and interference. And so clearing all this out can really help our vitality return to us. And so if you've noticed that you sort of lost that zest for life, then this is going to be a really important aspect for you to look at. And again, no judgment. This is just about being that objective detective, right? That I always talk about. Like, we're not here to judge ourselves, but we are here to get curious and investigate. And the more objective and less judgmental we can be and more forgiving, the more sort of successful or productive we'll be. And what does that look like? That looks like our happiness. That looks like our peace. That looks like happy and healthy relationships and all of the things that you define in your life as being happy, productive, successful. And so it's not for me to define for you, but these are things for you to define for yourself and to figure out for yourself. And of these processes that I'm giving you and suggesting are great ways to do that. And so when we work with these three elements together, the physical, emotional, and energetic, the changes are literally felt. And when we feel something, that reverberates throughout our body. And so we have steadier energy, sharper focus, deeper sleep, brighter moods, smoother digestion, and a stronger sense of ourselves overall. And that is so valuable and so important and so helpful in any day, but especially in today's day and age. And so I want to take you through a little Equinox reset ritual, and you can do this today, or you can do this really any day, but during this Equinox energy time, it could be, a nice little thing to do. It's only 5 to 7 minutes long, so don't worry. You do not have to get up, like 2 hours earlier than your normal get up time. But the first step is to ground. So if you can stand barefooted and soften your knees and go outside, well, I guess go outside first and then stand barefooted on the ground with soft knees and just, a nice relaxed body, maybe shake it out a little bit. If you're the time to do this is sunrise or sunset. So make sure that you're facing either way, whichever time of day it is, face the sun, whichever direction it's going. And we're going to start with coherent breathing. And so this is a breath for balance. And so I want you to inhale for a count of 5, exhale for a count of 5 through the nose. Continue this for 2 to 3 minutes. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And when you're breathing, you should feel your belly expand. When you're breathing through your nose, you'll know you're doing it right. You'll know you're getting those big, deep, full therapeutic breaths if you feel your belly is expanding. So allow your belly to just relax and expand. That's really going to allow your diaphragm to expand and take in all that beautiful oxygen that you can. And then when you exhale, then your diaphragm can contract, which will push the air out of your lungs more forcefully, which will also help actually with the detoxing mechanisms of your body. And on each exhale, see heavy threads, whether they're chemical, whether they're stress, whether they're old stories that you're holding on to, and really see these heavy threads or ties or, however you see them as hooks, see them unhooking, see them untying, see them untethering and releasing and flowing down through your legs, in through your feet, into the earth. So you're really grounding and you're allowing Mother Earth to help you release these things that no longer serve you. And so when you inhale, draw in golden white light through your crown, through the sun, through the great central sun, call in your source energy or God, whatever you practice, and feel this beautiful golden white light filling your cells, filling your organs and your aura, your whole energetic field with clarity, with this beautiful healing white light. Seeing and feeling everything come back into balance, everything come back into homeostasis. And just this intention is so powerful because that intention and those thoughts actually will allow your body to dampen down those inflammatory markers and lower your cortisol. And when you lower your cortisol, then your blood sugar rebalances itself and your stress hormones, rebalance themselves. And so this really does have a real physical impact on your body. So we're inhaling golden white light through the crown, filling the cells, the organs, the blood, the bones, your entire energetic field with beautiful healing white light and clarity. And then we're exhaling and you're seeing all that no longer serves you, all the extra chemicals, all the stress, all the old stuff, anybody else's crap that you're holding on to, just see it unhook, dissolve, untether, and completely be let go, flowing down through your legs, through your grounding cord, down into Mother Earth for recycling. You can also say out loud or to yourself, I honor the balance within me. I release all that no longer serves. And I welcome and invite in clarity, vitality, and peace. I think that's a beautiful mantra for this time of year, for today especially. And then when you're done, when that 2 or 3 minutes has come to an end, thank your body, thank yourself for taking the time to just dedicate this little 5 to 7 minute practice just to you. Thank the season. Take in one final slow, deep breath, inhaling fully through your nose and exhaling fully out your mouth, if that feels good to you, or out your nose, whichever feels most in alignment. And just, again, like, feel the difference in your mind, body, and spirit after this practice. So I also want to give you a September reset toolkit in this episode. And so we want to think of it as like a 3x3 reset. So 3 tools for the body, 3 tools for emotions, and 3 tools for energy. And so you'll choose one from each aspect to start with and add more as you feel better. So under the umbrella of the physical, where there is something that I've sort of coined as that we're going to call the Equinox plate. So the task or the challenge is to build meals around protein, fiber, and color. And so seasonal boosters like apples and pears are great because they supply pectin for the gut. Beets and arugula are liver-loving bitters and nitrates and cleansers. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cabbage actually support estrogen metabolism. And then squash and pumpkins provide minerals and more of a complex carb for that energetic balance. So really, again, the other thing especially for women to keep in mind is to make sure you're getting enough protein. And I've talked about this in other episodes, so I won't go into it today. But if you have a variety of color on your plate, then you're getting a variety of nutrients, both macro and micro, which is super important for our balance. And then, of course, we want to keep it as low carb or zero carb as possible. And that especially goes to added sugar. So if you're having a squash or a pumpkin, maybe refrain from adding the brown sugar if at all possible, please. Add some cinnamon. That's great because that will help balance your sugar metabolism as it does process these complex carbs. But again, like, focus on, especially while you're going through a detox, as little to zero sugar as possible. The second aspect of this physical piece is hydration. So half of your body weight in pounds so half of your body weight, if you're weighing yourself in pounds, in ounces daily. So if you are 150 pounds, then you want to try to get in 150 ounces of water. And this is also assuming you have happy and healthy kidneys. If you have any sort of kidney impairment, then please check with your nephrologist or your primary care physician about how much water you should, or how much hydration in general you should be taking in. So I'm going to add that little disclaimer in here. You can add a pinch of mineral salt or lemon, and knowing that this will help improve the cellular uptake of your nutrients. So hydration is super important. And then the third physical piece here is liver and lymph love. And so daily walking, gentle rebounding, or gentle yoga is great for circulation and our lymph circulation. Dry brushing before your shower is fantastic. And after you've dry brushed and you showered, you can also add in a little cold burst, a little cold therapy. So 30 to 60 seconds of your shower with some cold therapy, cold water. And then another great tool is a castor oil pack over your liver 3 to 4 nights a week. It's a great liver detox. Okay, so those were the 3 aspects for the physical body. And I'll put all this in the show notes so you'll have an actual sort of written visual guideline to follow as well. So the next aspect, obviously, is our emotional system, our mind, and our nervous system. So 5 minutes of heart coherence breathing, that 5-to-5 ratio. Also, while calling in and really feeling into the feeling of gratitude or love or appreciation, this really helps bring the heart into coherence. And when we're in heart coherence, we're also in brain coherence. And when we are in heart and brain coherence, then our body is naturally moving and in a state of homeostasis. So it is a fantastic tool. It requires no equipment, just you and your breathing. And you can be done, and it is effective in as little as 5 minutes. So another emotional or nervous system tool that I'm going to throw in here today are some journaling. So release on paper. So the prompt of what am I no longer available for this season, I think is a great one, especially when we're thinking about setting boundaries. So what am I no longer available for this season? Where are you going to start saying no? No is a complete and loving sentence. I feel like I say this so much on this show, but it can't be oversaid because I have conversations with friends and family and clients all the time about this. So again, what am I no longer available for this season? So again, it doesn't have to be forever, but this is a way that you are choosing to create space by saying no to something. You're saying you're going to be able to say yes to something else. So think about it that way. And then another one that I really like is, what does my nervous system need to feel safe and spacious? And when we feel safe, then our autonomic nervous system and our brain can truly get out of fight or flight. It's only when we feel safe that we are ultimately able to release these inflammatory emotions that keep us in the state of fight or flight. So safety is key. And so meditation is fantastic for that, but I'm going to abstain from giving you a list of suggestions about how and what to do this. So I want you to get curious with yourself and just, listen internally to see what comes up. What does my nervous system need to feel safe and spacious? And once you've journaled these things, I suggest that you either crumple it up or tear it up and then have a little fire ceremony and burn it. And know that as it burns, it is being released back to the universe for the universe to be taken care of for you. And so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to obsess about it. And so then the third piece for this emotional aspect is the boundary audit. So notice, I want you to start paying attention. Where are your automatic yeses? Or maybe you're in a situation where you consistently get voluntold to do something. Anybody out there know what voluntold means? It's one of those things where maybe within a family dynamic, you've always just been the one to show up in a certain way or do a certain something. And so now everyone just expects it, whether you're actually able to do it or not. And so that could be an instance of being voluntold. Other ways is you're actually told to do something by whether it's a boss or coworker or family member, whether you want to or not, or they didn't actually ask you to do it. They just said, hey, do this. So the practice can be gentle, but you can also say, you know what, let me get back to you about that. Let me check my schedule. Let me see what's on my plate. And so a clean boundary can dramatically drop your stress load. So again, where are your automatic yeses, and where can you, with gentle compassion, say, let me get back to you, or a gentle no. It's okay. Give yourself permission. Let yourself off the hook. All right. And then we get to the fun little energetic tools. So of course, one of the tried and true is the smudging. So open a window, maybe you have some Palo Santo or sage in your space. You can even use essential oil sprays or I like to make Reiki infused sprays with crystals. So especially like quartz crystals or different types of crystals that, your intention here is super powerful. So, and use wind chimes or a singing bowl and or even a rattle or a drum. All of these things are going to help break up the energy of a room. So if you have a room or where you have certain corners where the stuff gathers, and I know you all know what I'm talking about. So whether that's that corner where your laundry piles up, or maybe you have a corner in your office where the bills have piled up, or the paperwork that you need to file, or whatever it is, wherever in your house the stuff is starting to accumulate, I encourage you to take this there first. And these little practices will literally get this stagnant energy going and moving. And you'll be surprised that all of a sudden you're motivated to clean out that corner, or you get on this cleaning tear or organizational tear in your office or your closet, or or maybe you finally like, okay, I'm going to fold all that damn laundry. Like all that laundry could be clean. I'm not saying it's dirty in the corner, but maybe you just haven't folded it yet, whatever. So you can use these to get that energy moving and to not only help yourself, but help the environment, which will also, again, like have that positive feedback with you. We can also do some cord clearing and callback. So visualize again any hooks that you have in your body, whether it's your solar plexus, your heart space. Maybe tune into where you have a consistent symptom that pops up. So maybe it's a back pain or an old ankle or knee injury, or maybe it's a migraine or a headache or a neck pain. Tune in there and just intuitively ask, like, what is hanging out here that consistently flares this up? Is it mine? Is it someone else's that I've taken on? And if it is, who and where did it come from? And, go in and say, I release all of this. It is no longer mine. I no longer need it. Clear, transmute, delete across all time, dimension, space, and reality. And then call all your energy back into that space and fill yourself up with your light and your energy. So none of that other stuff has room to live there anymore. Okay. And then, of course, the digital sunset. So 1 device-free hour before bed. Your aura and your melatonin will thank you. So this is, it can be definitely a challenge for a lot of us. We're so connected to all of our devices, but give yourself that favor of at least an hour before bed, putting the devices away, getting rid of that blue light that really wreaks havoc on our brain and how our brain converts the serotonin to melatonin, which is a direct impact on our sleep cycle. So you can stack again, like I said, you can pick one from each little category. You can stack them. So one example would be like start with a dry brush, then your shower, then your cool rinse, and then have 2 minutes of heart coherence. You can even do your heart coherence breathing in the shower. And so look at that, how productive and you've been with implementing already. And you've just combined a whole bunch of tools for yourself in one thing. So you're not having to add extra things into your day or into your life. This is actually about, again, releasing, letting go, trimming down. And so then whenever you have time, maybe the same day, maybe not, but you can smudge your bedroom. You can put your phone on airplane mode. And that's a great little 10-minute nightly reset that compounds fast. So I'll go through it again. Dry brushing, shower, cool rinse, 2 minutes of heart coherence, smudge the bedroom, put your phone on airplane mode. Done. That's your bedtime routine. But that can be so impactful. And especially if you give yourself like a 5 to 7 day challenge during this equinox phase. If you do that for 5 to 7 days consistently, you will have successfully implemented a whole new habit, a whole new bedroom routine, which is so powerful and so healthy. And I would love any of you out there that do this, I would love to hear the feedback and to hear your results, because I know it'll be very helpful and impactful for you. So the next piece of this before we finish up is another little 7-day equinox reset sort of outline suggested approach. So day 1 of the actual equinox, so do your ritual at sunrise or sunset. Maybe even clear your pantry of clutter. So toss out those obviously ultra processed foods, or toss out stuff that's been in there forever that is out of date. Like even if it's a dry good and you haven't used it, get rid of it. You don't need that in your energetic field, even if it's in the back of your pantry. It's still something there cluttering up your brain, your energy. And so then on day 2, you add the equinox plate. So again, focusing on your hydration goal and focusing on the color on your plate, the seasonal vegetables, and the full amount of good, clean protein. Day 3 is maybe the day that you start to implement the dry brushing, maybe a 10-minute walk and with some coherence breathing. Day 4, you can do the cord cutting ritual and the digital sunset. Day 5, you can add in the castor oil packs and the journaling prompts. Day 6, again, is another opportunity to focus on food. And then day 7 is a focus on nature time. So at least a half an hour to an hour in nature. And then focusing on gratitude. So make a list of 7 things that you released, 7 things you're calling in, and 7 things you're grateful for on this last day. And then notice how you feel by day 7. And again, I know I went through that really fast, but I'll have this all printed out for you in the show notes page. And so what changes when you truly detox? Let's talk about that. So your energy returns because your mitochondria aren't fighting through the bog down and the sludge. Your focus sharpens as your blood sugar stabilizes and your inflammation drops. Your hormones reharmonize and rebalance. And so when the liver can clear the excess estrogens, both synthetic and natural, then that's really super helpful for your body. And it also helps balance your stress metabolites. Your sleep deepens. So with a calmer nervous system, you have a healthier melatonin rhythm. When you're sleeping better, your mood lifts. When your gut, your breath, and your boundaries all align, it's like magic, and you're all of a sudden you can breathe again, and you don't feel like the world is closing in on you, or that all of the yeses that you've said are covering you up, and your field brightens. So you stop caring what isn't yours, and your authentic signal can broadcast again. You can be that radiant light that you were born here to be, and that you were before you incarnated. And so autumn is your invitation to travel lighter. And today's balance of light and dark is your reminder that healing is not more hustle, it's alignment. So if you're ready for a guided start, you're welcome again to check out my From Burnout to Brilliance program. And I'll provide the link in the show notes. But I just would love to hear if this episode supported you in any way. Please share it with a friend, share it with someone you care about or you think might benefit from it too. And, hit the like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But check out the show notes page at drlaramay.com/podcasts. You'll see this under Wellness Illuminated for the Equinox episode. And if you're looking for not only the 7-day reset, but also those different categories that I went over earlier. So thank you all for tuning in today. We will catch you in October. I can't believe 2025 is about to enter its final quarter for the year. Is in the final quarter for the year. So anyway, we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining me on Light Body Radio, where functional medicine meets intuitive healing and transformation happens on every level. If this episode resonated with you, please like, share, and if you're ready to go deeper, visit drlaramay.com to book a functional medicine consultation or an intuitive healing session. Whether you need to rebalance your body, clear your energetic blocks, or reconnect with your soul's purpose, I've got you. You can also follow me on Instagram or TikTok at Dr. Lara May for daily inspiration, energy updates, and healing tools. Remember, your healing is multidimensional, and so are you. Until next time, honor your body, trust your intuition, and activate your light.